Now we will look at Heroku and see how we can publish our application to the Heroku web server and gain a totally free access to MongoDB and a web server. If we look at the code we had the last time, we got the names from the database and now have increased the limit to 50,000 names and display that in the browser. And if we start the application and go into the web browser, we can see that with one refresh in several milliseconds we get the 50,000 names listed in our browser. And just to write them out in linear order instead of in one line, we can do a little modification here. We can write a loop, and here we can do a response write and stringify each member of the array, so we can better see how many lines are actually written to the browser. Then we can just end our response here. So if we save this and run the app again, there we have some fail. Let's see. Yeah, we have to stringify the result like this and then add new line, and it should run fine. And now we do refresh, and now we list out our 50,000 names in the browser within milliseconds, which shows the enormous speed of this solution. Now we are ready to go to Heroku, which is a cloud application platform, as you can see from the site. And it is free up to some minimum sandbox development, but as soon as you want to go into some serious development with a lot of resources, you have to start to pay. But this goes great just to do the proof of concept and actually to run the type of application we are planning on running on Heroku. So we will just log in, and here I have some test applications that I have made, and you have to install the tool belt. If you go to the dev center heroku.com and the quick start, you will see that description on how you install the Heroku tool belt into your MacBook computer. It's actually very easy. You just download the tool belt from here and install it, some normal application. And after you have done that, you are ready to go. And now if we install the tool belt on our Mac, it will write the files to the correct place, and after it is installed we can go to our directory and we can type Heroku, and then we should see the help command come up, and here we see which commands we can do to connect to our Heroku web server. So the first thing we need to do is to log in. So I will use my credentials here, and then I'm logged into Heroku, and you will just use the same credential as you use when you sign on to the network, to the Heroku web server. And now we need to create an app, so we can say Heroku help apps, and here you can see we can create, destroy, and open the apps. And we start by typing Heroku apps create Greencard. And now we have created our app, and we should be able to see it here now in my apps. And here we see it's a Greencard app that has been created. And now Heroku doesn't know anything about our app. We just created the app. And now we have to specify a few things in our NodeJS app, so Heroku will be able to understand which type of app it is and how it should run the app on the web server. So now we need to do some changes to our NodeJS app so it will be able to run on Heroku. The first is that Heroku chooses the port that our app will use. Obviously there are thousands and thousands of programs running, so we can not just choose our own port to use at Heroku. So to be able to do this, we have to define a port variable here, and that means that we will get the port from the process that is running on Heroku, from the environment variables there, and there is a defined port. We have been using 3100, and we can continue to use that port locally at least. So if we run the program locally and no port variable is defined in our local environment, we will use the port 3100. But if we run this on Heroku, this port variable will be defined and then used. So that means that it's hardly unlikely that on Heroku will assign us port 3100. So if we want to do some debugging and testing on both the local environment and on Heroku, we can just check if port is equal to 3100. We are running on our local server, else we are running on Heroku. So then we need to replace this variable with port, and then we can also take this print out away and write out port here, just to see which port Heroku assigns to us, so that we can let Heroku know which type of application we are going to publish. To the web server we need to add two files. I mentioned the proc file before. Procedure file that tells Heroku that this is a web that we are going to publish. It's a Node application, and to start the web process, Heroku should run this command, node app.js. So this file we need, so I will save it. Now we have a proc file also in our directory. And then we need also the package.json file that tells Heroku which the name of our application version number and which dependencies our app has. And in this case we are dependent on MongoSkin version 0.5. We can specify the version in more detail or just add X here, so it will take the newest update. And the same for Node and the package manager. And this file we need to save also. Then if we look at our directory, we have the proc file, we have the package and our app. So I have destroyed my app on Heroku, so I will go through the process once more. Heroku keys add to be sure that the public and private keys are sent to Heroku, and we can communicate with Heroku on SSL. Then we will do Heroku apps create Greencard, and the app is created on Heroku. Next we will add our files to the Git repository, and then we'll do git add period, we'll add all files, do git commit with the message initial, and working directory is clean. And then if we look at git remote view, we can see that we have Heroku defined our app Greencard. So then we can do git push Heroku master branch of our repository. And then Heroku takes the files in our directory. It can detect that this is a Node application because of the proc file. It will resolve the dependencies with the package.json file, and it will build the necessary MongoSkin files, and then it will launch our application. And if everything goes well, we should be able to go to http greencardheroku.com and our app should run. And here we get the comment, other comment, because we didn't specify name, so everything looks good. And if we will type in our command names, we will should get error, since we are trying to connect to the local MongoDB database that Heroku knows nothing about. So the next thing we need to do is to add the MongoDB database as an add-in at Heroku and transfer our data there. If we look at apps, we can see that we have a Greencard app here, and we click on that and select get add-ons. And we will take the Mongo headquarters database from here, and here we see the price scheme if you're running a prod database. We will take the sandbox, which is free. It gives us 512 megabytes and 50 megabytes of memory, and we will select the app Greencard and say add Mongo headquarters sandbox. And now we have the MongoDB attached as an add-on to our app. And now if we click on Greencard again, we can see the Heroku knows that this is a Node application and how to run it as a web, and it has one add-on, which is the Mongo headquarters sandbox. And if we click on the add-on, we can see that this is the database that Mongo headquarters has created for us, and with the path how to connect to that database. And if we click on collections, we can see that we have no collections there. And if we click on admin, we can see that under the users it's only one Heroku user, and we can add another user, or just change the password to the Heroku user to like Heroku test. If we do add users, it will do the necessary changes to this user Heroku.